picture the sheer, sensory overload. I mean, the studio lights are flashing so intensely you are actively seeing spots.
Oh, I have a migraine just thinking about it, honestly.
Literally. And the bass from the main stage monitors is just, thumping through the floorboards.
Vibrating directly into your sternum.
Vibrating into your sternum. And the air itself is a legitimate biohazard. Choking thick with aerosol hairspray, sheer desperation, and roughly 50 pounds of loose cosmetic-grade glitter.
Minimum 50 pounds. Probably more.
Right. And we are standing at the absolute precipice of the RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 11 finale. And the sheer chaos, I mean, the unadulterated heartbreak and the triumphant high-cap glory of crowning a new queen is vibrating through the screen.
It was a lot to process.
We have tears, we have double tearaways, we have wild cards completely obliterating Titans, and we have enough backstage off-screen drama to fuel an entirely separate daytime soap opera.
It was a psychological roller coaster wrapped in a disco ball. You survived it, I survived it, and barely, just barely, the remaining queens survived it.
Barely is the operative word here.
Because if we're being completely honest, watching this finale felt less like a celebration of drag and more like, I don't know, a televised stress test for the human nervous system.
It really did.
Yeah.
But babes, welcome back. This one is for the gays, the theys, the queens, the kings, the dolls, the divas, the allies, and literally every single babe listening.
Yes, all of you.
Whether you've been watching since season 1 or you literally just discovered Drag Race yesterday, welcome home.
Yeah.
We love you, we see you, and tonight we're celebrating all of you.
And honestly, considering the sheer heart palpitations that sudden death format gave me, the entire audience deserves a Purple Heart just for making it through the 90-minute runtime.
We really, really do. So grab your glasses. I've got my champagne right here, and I am raising a glass directly to you, the listener.
I've got mine ready.
Let's toast to creativity, to courage, to blazing authenticity, to the beauty of chosen family, and to every single person who's ever found a shred of confidence by watching someone else unapologetically shine on that main stage. Cheers, babes.
Clink. Cheers. And a very special, deeply sarcastic, but utterly genuine toast to surviving the psychological warfare of modern reality television.
Oh my gosh, yes.
May our collective nervous systems eventually recover from the sheer messiness of this season.
I mean, it is a lot to process, but watching a finale, it always makes me so incredibly nostalgic.
Oh, here come the tears.
Shut up. But no, before we tear into the mechanics of what just happened, it makes me think about my own Drag Race journey. I want everyone listening to think about the first time they truly understood what this show was.
It's a formative memory for sure.
It really is. I still remember the very first season I watched. It was just this explosion of color and defiance. I didn't know television could be that loud, that unapologetically queer, and that important.
Right. It was revolutionary at the time.
It totally was. The emotional impact it had on me, just seeing queer joy and queer arts celebrated on a platform like that without apology. I mean, it completely rewired my brain. It was a lifeline.
It's fascinating to look back at the origins, though, because the contrast is staggering. If we trace the franchise's evolution from a production standpoint, it's a completely different organism now.
Oh, night and day. Night and day.
Think back to those early Vaseline-filtered days of Season 1. Everything looked like it was shot through a smudge of petroleum jelly on a budget of, $50, a prayer, and some duct tape.
And a very blurry ladder in the background.
Exactly. It was essentially a gritty parody of America's Next Top Model.
Mm-hmm.
But fast forward to now, and it has metamorphosed into a global, slick, hyper-produced multimedia empire.
Which is wild to think about.
The expectation for the artistry has escalated exponentially, but so has the pressure cooker environment for the queens. I mean, they aren't just competing for a crown anymore. They are auditioning to become global brand ambassadors.
Exactly. And you can feel that weight in the lip syncs. The lip syncs are the beating heart of the franchise.
They are the ultimate proving ground.
I will never, ever get over the epic final face-off between Mikey Meeks and Nene Coco from season 18. The pure emotion of that moment.
Oh, that was a heavy one.
You could literally feel the weight of their entire lives, their entire drag careers just pouring out onto that stage. They weren't just dancing to a song. They were bleeding out their ambition for the judges.
They absolutely were.
I still get chills just thinking about the way they moved together, the storytelling. It was transcendent.
See, I completely understand the visceral reaction to a lip sync, but for me, the performance aspect is secondary.
Really?
Yeah. It wasn't a lip sync that cemented my love for the show's artistry. It was the runway. Specifically, Crystal Method's season 12 makeover look.
Oh, the Bert and Ernie look.
Exactly. It's a Bert and Ernie inspired, wildly kooky, entirely left of center aesthetic. She took the classic family resemblance trope of a makeover challenge and completely subverted it.
She totally did. It was brilliant.
She painted herself and her partner in these vibrant primary colors with the massive straight knitwear. I actually have a painting of that exact look hanging in my living room.
I've seen it. It's so good.
That was the moment I realized drag isn't just, female illusion or pageant gowns. It's high art. It's clowning. It's surrealism. It's pushing the boundaries of what is considered beautiful.
Yes. It proved that the weird kids can win. Yeah. Like, it showed an entire generation of quirky kids that being different isn't a liability, it is your ultimate superpower.
Precisely.
To me, Drag Race is the queer Olympics. I mean, it is a cultural touchstone that redefines mainstream art, it dictates internet slang, and sets actual fashion trends. These queens are world-class athletes of performance art.
It's a masterclass in subversion disguised as a shiny competition. But the show also forces its audience, which is now massively mainstream, to critically examine gender constructs, the nature of performance, and even the mechanics of reality TV storytelling itself.
Which is so true.
Which brings us perfectly to the tension of this finale.
Yes. But wait, before we rip into the absolute chaos of the bracket, we need to take a breath. We need to center ourselves.
We've luck with that.
No, seriously. The internet has been so toxic this week, so let's spread some actual love. Let's give some people their flowers.
A necessary palate cleanser, I suppose. Who are you giving your flowers to?
I am getting a little emotional just thinking about it, but I have to give my flowers to a friend who really showed up for me this past week when I was having a particularly tough time. You know who you are. And we talk so much about the drama on the show, but that reminded me of the beautiful theme of chosen family that we constantly see playing out in the workroom.
Right. It's not all just throwing shade.
Exactly. When the cameras are off, these queens take care of each other.
Yeah.
That bond is real. And on a purely drag note, I have to give my flowers to Crystal Method.
A very timely choice.
Regardless of how anyone feels about the format of this finale, for years she has unapologetically leaned into her weirdness. She never compromises her artistic integrity just to fit a conventional mold.
Beautifully said. Now, my flowers are going to be slightly more analytical and perhaps a bit more chaotic.
Of course they are.
I am lovingly giving my flowers to the messy Reddit fans and the creators who kept the narrative alive when the television edit failed us.
Oh my God, yes.
Specifically, I must shout out Mistress Isabel Brooks. Mistress hosted those utterly unhinged TikTok lives that quite literally fed the fandom this season.
The TikTok lives were a separate television show. Like, they deserve their own Emmy.
They were essential viewing. Without her instigating and, mediating the off-screen mess between the queens, we wouldn't have understood the actual stakes of the finale.
So true.
She provided the necessary subtext that production tried to edit out. And a very quick vital nod to my local gay bar for keeping the gin and tonics flowing generously during the viewing party. Watching that sudden death bracket required heavy sedation.
Amen to the bartenders. Always tip your bartenders, babes. But enough about our feelings. The crown is on the line.
Let's get into it.
But wait. I feel like it's only fair that before we critique the faction of the top 6, we put our own aesthetics on the chopping block.
Oh, boy. What are we doing?
We are playing a game. The category is absolute delusion.
I feel like I live in that category.
We are going to invent the most ridiculous, hyper-specific finale runway categories and roast each other's imaginary looks. You go first. Set the stage.
Challenge accepted. The category is IKEA chic.
Okay.
We're talking high fashion constructivism. I am stepping onto the runway in a highly structured avant-garde architectural gown. It is constructed entirely of those crinkly blue Frecta shopping bags.
Not the 99-cent bags.
Wait for the details. The bodice is intricately woven, creating a corset effect, and the headpiece is a dangerous, spiky halo made completely out of silver Allen wrenches.
Oh, wow.
I am carrying a small, tasteful, crystal-encrusted clutch that resembles a singular Swedish meatball.
Okay, the Allen wrench crown is a serve, I won't lie. It's giving hardware store deity. But the Frecta bag gown. Honey, that is giving less high fashion and more flat pack furniture.
Yeah.
Like, I can literally see the instruction manual hanging out of your hemline. It's very aisle 14 bin 2 realness.
It's conceptual. The crinkle of the plastic creates an auditory sensory experience on the runway. Let's see you do better. What is your delusion?
Oh, prepare yourself. The category is Airport Security Eleganza.
I am intrigued.
I am stomping down the runway in a drab, oversized, severely tailored navy blue TSA uniform.
I'm already bored. Where is the drag?
Let me finish. I get to the end of the runway, I snatch off the badge, I rip open the uniform, and it's a full, seamless tearaway.
Okay, a reveal.
Underneath, I'm wearing a glistening, transparent latex dress. But the dress is constructed of clear vinyl pockets filled entirely with confiscated liquids that are strictly over 3.4 ounces.
Oh my God, you did not.
Yes. Shampoos, expensive perfumes, half-empty water bottles, someone's confiscated artisanal jam just sloshing around, catching the stage lights as I hit a sickening dip.
I'm disgusted, yet analytically impressed. The commentary on the surveillance state is palpable.
Thank you.
Though I have to point out the physics of this garment. The sheer weight of all those illegal liquids would severely impact your walk. You'd be waddling down the main stage, not stomping. It's giving detain for questioning, not Shantae, you stay.
Beauty is pain. I would make it work. Okay, hit me with another one.
My next category, Monday morning executive realness.
Oh, this is going to be tragic.
I am walking out in a sharp, tailored charcoal blazer with a severe shoulder pad. Business on top, but from the waist down. Flannel pajama pants with little cartoon penguins on them.
Stop it.
I have one stiletto pump on and one fuzzy memory foam slipper.
The Zoom meeting special. I am dead.
Exactly. My mascara is aggressively smudged from crying in the supply closet, and my primary prop is a sweating, venti iced coffee that I use to gesture wildly and point aggressively at the judges during my critiques.
I feel personally attacked by that look. Like, that is not a runway. That is a documentary of my actual Tuesday mornings.
Art imitates life.
I would read you for filth, but I'm too busy relating to the smudged mascara and the iced coffee dependency. Okay, last round. The category is Wi-Fi outrealness mixed with overdraft fantasy.
A double category. Ambitious. Let's hear it.
I am wearing a voluminous ball gown made entirely of red, payment-declined receipts stitched together.
Very budget conscious.
I have a massive, spinning, iridescent fascinator on my head that looks exactly like the Mac loading wheel of death.
Okay, that's good.
And my makeup is completely pale, gaunt, and contoured to look hollow because I haven't been able to refresh my social media feeds for 6 consecutive hours.
Okay.
I'm literally wasting away.
The spinning wheel fascinator is a brilliant kinetic element, I'll give you that.
It spins.
But the overdraft receipts, we've seen paper dresses before in this show, and they almost always fail the construction test. Visage would tell you it's crafty. She'd say, I need more glamour, less Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
I would simply cry on the main stage to gain sympathy points. I would talk about my inner saboteur.
And realistically, given the mechanics of this season, that would probably work perfectly to get you to the next round.
The shade, oh my God, the shade.
It's just the truth.
But you are so right, which brings up the uncomfortable reality of this format. But babes, enough about our imaginary drag careers.
Yeah.
The crown is on the line, so let's celebrate one incredible finale. Let's get into the absolute meat of this recap. We need to talk about the disco smackdown for the crown.
Let's set the stage, because the stakes have literally never been higher.
We have our top 6. Crystal Method, Joey J, Silky Nutmeg Ganache, Akira C. Davenport, Jasmine Kennedy, and Dawn.
A powerhouse lineup.
Right. And they are competing for a life-changing $200,000, a permanent immortal spot in the Drag Race Hall of Fame, and this amazing official custom beauty collaboration and promotional campaign with Anastasia Beverly Hills Cosmetics.
It's a massive prize package, but we need to critically analyze the format RuPaul threw at them because it fundamentally altered the psychology of the game.
Oh, absolutely it did.
We are looking at a Lollapalooza tournament. Now, for the uninitiated, a Lollapalooza is a sudden death, bracket-style lip-sync tournament. One song, 2 queens, the loser is instantly eliminated.
Brutal.
But this wasn't just any bracket. Because of the semifinal performances, RuPaul granted Crystal Method and Jasmine Kennedy a massive mathematical advantage. They received a bye.
Yep.
They skipped round 1 entirely and marched straight into round 2.
Which instantly ignited the pregame drama. Like, we have to talk about the pink furry box and the absolute nuclear fallout in the workroom because we have to talk about the Rated Queen system.
We have to look at Rated Queen not just as a fun little peer review, but as a textbook example of the prisoner's dilemma and applied game theory.
Break that down for me, because to the average viewer, it just looked like a bunch of queens feeling bad for Jasmine after she cried and then instantly regretting it.
Right, the sympathy vote backlash. In game theory, you have players who must choose whether to cooperate or defect. The queens tried to cooperate. Last week, they gave Jasmine a highly inflated, most valuable queen, or MVQ, rating out of pure sympathy because she had an emotional breakdown about feeling unseen.
She was sobbing.
Exactly. They thought they were just giving her a morale boost. What they failed to calculate was that this inflated score mathematically bumped her to the top of the leaderboard, handing her a bye directly into round 2 and bypassing a grueling, physically taxing lip sync.
The regret in that room was thicker than Silky's contour. Like,
Oh.
the second RuPaul announced that the top 2 MVQs got to skip the first round, you could see the blood literally drain from Akira's face.
Because the sympathy vote is essentially a strategic alliance that backfired horribly, and that fueled the fire between Jasmine and Akira. I want to meticulously break down this workroom clash because it's layered in class, budget, and the evolving expectations of drag.
Oh, the prop debate. This was wild.
Yeah.
Jasmine attacked Akira's talent show performance over originality.
Exactly. Akira had constructed her props on set in the workroom. She literally pulled the raw materials out of her luggage and built it there.
Which is amazing.
It is, but Jasmine argued that bringing pre-constructed, massive, expensive props from home was more elevated and expected for an all-star.
Which is wild to me. Like, Akira basically said, I brought my own materials, I conceptualized it, I built it here with my own 2 hands. How is that not talent?
Yeah.
It takes so much resourcefulness.
It's the classic money versus craft debate on this show.
Totally. But then the receipts came out. Because it wasn't just Jasmine who rated Akira low, Dawn got completely exposed as the mastermind.
Oh, Dawn tried to play the innocent bystander.
She did.
She was defending Akira in the workroom, saying they should judge based purely on the stage performance, not the origin of the props. But Akira is a veteran. She had the receipts.
She said, roll the tapes.
Dawn had actively gone around the room, whispering to the other queens, trying to orchestrate a block vote to put Akira and Silky in the bottom.
The betrayal. And right in the middle of this boiling tension, production hands them the pink furry box.
A masterclass in production manipulation. They knew exactly what they were doing.
Truly. It's an anonymous Q&A game. You pull a question from the box and have to answer it in front of everyone. Someone literally pulls out the question, who is the least deserving of the crown?
It's designed to force confrontation. And Jasmine and Akira immediately name each other.
Without hesitation.
It was expected, but still brutal to watch them articulate it. But the absolute highlight of that box segment, the moment that shifted the energy of the entire episode, was Joey J.
Joey J. Oh my God.
Incredible.
The girls tried to call Joey out for having 0 wins going into the finale. They were calling her the wild card who didn't earn her spot, the one who just skated by.
They were dragging her.
And Joey, without missing a single beat, completely deadpan, fires back with the quote of the episode. Eat my ass, RuPaul handpicked me.
Iconic. Truly iconic.
Put it on a t-shirt, put it on a billboard. I was screaming at my television.
It was a great television moment because it completely deflated the tension with pure absurdity. But the drama didn't stop when the camera stopped rolling.
No, it did not.
We have to address the off-screen drama because the environment this season was unprecedented. Akira had a complete crash out on a TikTok live.
It was so dark.
She was name-calling, she was allegedly body-shaming Silky, all while Mistress Isabel Brooks was trying to mediate the situation on her platform. It was a terrible look and showed just how deep the resentment ran. It wasn't just for the cameras, the psychological toll was very real.
It was messy. But wait, I want to push back on this narrative we were building right now. We keep talking about Jasmine's manipulation and Dawn's strategy and the sympathy votes as if they committed a federal crime.
Well, they kind of broke the social contract.
But isn't Jasmine just playing the game? Why are we, or the fandom, mad at her for manipulating the rated queen system by crying and getting sympathy points? This is literally a competition for $200,000.
Because it's reality TV, and there are unwritten rules.
But if crying gets you a bite of the finale, you better believe I am sobbing on that main stage. I am producing tears on command.
That's a fair point, but it raises an important question about the social contract of the workroom. Yes, it's a game, and there is a prize. But the rated queen format relies on peer assessment, which requires a baseline of trust.
Right.
When you use emotional manipulation to artificially inflate your score, you break the trust of your peers. And as we saw with the fan reactions, specifically from Reddit users who were writing literal dissertations on how her behavior was unlikable and unkind, playing the villain might mathematically get you to round 2, but it costs you the audience's goodwill.
Which is everything now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in modern drag, audience goodwill translates to booking fees and merchandise sales.
That's right.
Winning the crown is only half the battle. Winning the fandom is the actual prize.
That's so true. Winning the season but losing the fans is a total Pyrrhic victory. Okay, let's unpack the actual battles because this was a gauntlet.
It's exhausting just to watch.
We are starting with round one. We have Silky Nutmeg Ganache going up against Dawn, lip-syncing to Star Love by Cheryl Lynn. Pure disco joy.
Let's analyze Dawn's strategy here because it was perplexing. Dawn explicitly stated in her confessional that her goal was to out-stupid Silky.
Which is a choice.
A terrible choice. In practice, out-stupid translated to physically blocking Silky, standing in front of her, and trying to interrupt her sightlines with the judges.
It was so cringy to watch.
It was messy, it lacked choreography, and it was entirely ineffective against a seasoned powerhouse performer like Silky.
Silky just swatted her away like a literal fly. Like, Silky was effortless. You could tell she felt the music in her bones. She brought out the batons. She was twirling them flawlessly to the frantic disco beat. She had a super slick costume reveal that hit exactly on the chorus.
It was textbook Drag Race excellence.
She demolished Dawn. It wasn't even a competition. It was a bloodbath on the dance floor.
Which brings us to the second battle of round one, and perhaps the biggest shock of the entire night, if not the franchise history. Akira C. Davenport versus Joey J to The Boss by Diana Ross.
I was gooped. I was gagged. Wait, let me take a breath because I am getting too worked up.
Take your time.
Aki Kiria is a historic lip-sync assassin. She has legendary status. She embodies the essence of Diana Ross. And she was shockingly low-key.
Extremely low-key.
She was subdued, almost just going through the motions. And Joey J, our zero-win wild card, the one everyone just told to her face didn't deserve to be there, pulled out a massive, undeniable upset.
It was baffling to watch. You have to wonder about the psychology of that moment. Did Akira essentially give up before the music even started?
It felt like it.
Given all the backstage drama, the realization that her peers all ranked her fifth, the sheer exhaustion of the TikTok feuds that were brewing, it looked like the fight had completely left her body.
It really did.
We've talked about reality TV fatigue, the psychological toll of being sequestered, having cameras in your face 204/7, and knowing the social media backlash is looming. It fundamentally paralyzes some performers. She just didn't show up for that song.
It broke my heart a little bit to see a legend just deflate like that. But I have to give credit where credit is due. Joey was mesmerizing.
She held her own.
She didn't rely on stunts. She just performed the house down. Which takes us directly into round two. Joey J now has to face Silky Nutmeg Ganache to the main event fight by Barbra Streisand.
The irony here is thick, and it requires some context. The main event is a notoriously difficult lip-sync song.
Oh, it's so hard.
It has tempo changes, it requires a mix of campy comedy and dramatic interpretation. Silky explicitly stated she is a huge fan of the song. It should have been a slam dunk for her.
Right.
Yet, much like Atiria in the previous round, Silky delivered a weirdly subdued performance.
Where was the fire? Where was the Silky who dominated the All-Star 6 Redemption Smackdown with the guitar, the cocktails, the sheer force of nature?
She was absent.
She was just nice. Like they were doing a cute little boxing routine together at the beginning, shadowboxing to the lyrics, but then Silky just plateaued. Joey, on the other hand, was serving pure, fluid ballroom moves.
Yes.
Joey hit every single beat, serving so much grace and musicality.
We have to talk about Joey's technique here. Her execution of those ballroom elements, the dips, the hand performance, the floor work, completely overshadowed Silky's props and comedy attempts.
It was so beautiful to watch.
Joey didn't just survive the song, she controlled the narrative of the stage. She earned that win, point blank.
It was undeniable. Meanwhile, on the other side of the bracket, we finally see Crystal Method and Jasmine Kennedy face off to Knock on Wood by Ami Stewart.
This was a fascinating stylistic clash.
The contrast was everything. Like, Jasmine is an acrobat. She is throwing herself into the air, hitting intense splits on the heavy beats, doing every trick in the book with that sultry, focused face.
Very technical execution.
And Crystal is just Crystal. She's kooky. She's giving pure infectious joy, bouncing around the stage, interacting with the judges, pulling these insane facial expressions.
Then that's what RuPaul wants to see.
Exactly. RuPaul eats up the joy. Stunts are great, but RuPaul responds to a queen who is having fun. Crystal takes the win.
And that loss. That loss triggered one of the most intense, uncomfortable, untucked meltdowns we've seen in recent memory.
It was hard to watch.
Jasmine completely broke down crying in the backstage lounge. But what was fascinating from a psychological standpoint is how quickly the tears of defeat turned to venomous shade.
It was so messy. She was sobbing one second, and the next second she explicitly called Crystal untalented for winning this semifinal talent show.
It gave me whiplash.
She basically said Crystal didn't deserve to be in the finale over her.
Let's examine the architecture of Untucked for a second, because it exacerbates these moments. It's not just a backstage lounge. It is a meticulously designed pressure cooker.
Literally a pressure cooker.
The producers intentionally strip away the music. They leave you with the hum in the refrigerator, the harsh fluorescent lights, and sheer exhaustion.
I mean, I get the crushing pressure. You are literally one step away from the finale. You lose a lip sync you thought you won. Your adrenaline is crashing. You are sweating in a corset.
It's a lot.
Reality TV makes you lash out. I probably would have thrown a cocktail.
True, the environment is brutal, but the hypocrisy of her statements is glaring. Jasmine spent the entire episode defending herself against Akira's accusations of being fake and manipulative, only to immediately tear down Crystal's legitimate talent show win the moment she lost. It validated everything her detractors are saying about her. It proved Akira right.
Okay, take a breath. My heart is racing just recapping this. We are at the final showdown.
The main event.
The final two. Crystal Method versus Joey J. The song. The iconic, dramatic, absolute gay anthem, MacArthur Park by Donna Summer. Paint the visual for me.
It was a stark visual and thematic contrast. You had Joey J on one side, looking genuinely angelic in this massive, immaculate, white feathered ensemble. It felt very pure, very triumphant.
Gorgeous.
And on the other side, Crystal Method in a fiery red and orange structural number that looked dangerous.
And when the beat drops, when Donna Summer hits that crescendo, Krukel hits us with a double tearaway.
The tearaway was impressive.
She rips off the fire structure, reveals a sparkly nude bodysuit, and she's got these flamed pasties that she is fully utilizing during the "someone left the cake out in the rain" lyrics. It was high camp.
It was camp, yes. But if we are being completely analytical, it lacked energy.
You think so?
Compare this to the epic finales of the past. Both Crystal and Joey seemed fatigued. It felt oddly anticlimactic for a $200,000 prize.
Well, yeah, they were exhausted.
And part of that is the structural flaw of the tournament. Crystal winning felt inevitable because she had a better track record, but it also felt slightly pushed by production because she was allowed to skip the first round.
Right, the bye.
She was fresh. Joey had just fought through 2 heavyweights.
But regardless of the fatigue, the crowning happens. Crystal Method becomes the first queen of Mexican descent to enter the Drag Race Hall of Fame.
A historic moment.
We love seeing that representation, and her crowning line was absolute perfection. I guess there is a method to my madness.
A clever pun to close out a chaotic season. It summarizes her brand perfectly.
Okay, looking back at the season as a whole, we have to hand out some unofficial titles and praise. Let's talk about the crown-worthy moments of this finale. What was the absolute best performance of the night for you?
For me, and I think the analytical side of the audience is largely in agreement here, it was Joey J's performance against Silky to Barbra Streisand.
Oh, 100%.
The fluidity, the ballroom technique, the physical restraint, it was technically flawless. Joey didn't need stunts, she didn't need reveals. The dance vocabulary spoke for itself.
I am passionately defending this choice. Joey was mesmerizing. But wait, I want to challenge you on the word flawless.
Okay, go ahead.
Was it flawless, or was it just the exact right strategy for that specific opponent? Because against someone like Jasmine doing stunts, Joey's restraint might have looked boring.
That's a valid critique. Perhaps flawless is too generous. It was tactically brilliant. It stood out against Silky's chaotic, prop-heavy energy. She understood the assignment of the song better than Silky did.
Absolutely. Now let's talk best runway of the finale.
I have to give it to Crystal's fiery reveal look. The construction of the initial garment was impeccable. The way it held its shape before the reveal and the transition into the sparkly bodysuit with the flamed pasties was classic Crystal. It was campy, well executed, and a little bizarre. I
respect the pasties. I really do. It takes nerve to twirl flamed pasties on national television.
It does.
But for me, best runway goes to Joey's angelic white feathers. It was so elegant, so unexpected from her, and it caught the stage lights perfectly. It looked expensive, which is hard to pull off.
Fair enough.
Biggest surprise of the night. I think we both have the exact same answer.
Unquestionably, Joey J taking out Akira and Silky.
I am still screaming over this.
Yeah.
Think like the narrative arc, a 0-win wildcard. She was an early out on her original season.
A true underdog.
She walks into a sudden death lip sync tournament against 2 of the heaviest hitters in franchise history, and she sends them both packing. Not even noted drag psychic Kelly Mantle could have predicted that outcome.
It completely upended the narrative expectations. Which brings us to the most emotional moment.
For me, it was Jasmine's breakdown in Untucked.
Mm.
Yes, it was messy. Yes, she was incredibly shady to Crystal. But seeing her completely shatter, I related to that.
It was very raw.
The crushing weight of your dreams slipping through your fingers while cameras are shoved in your face,
Yeah.
waiting for you to crack. It's a lot to process.
It was uncomfortable television, which is exactly what this franchise was built on, for better or worse.
Which brings up the uncomfortable reality of this format. We have to debate the question that is currently tearing the internet apart. Did the right queen actually win?
Let's look at the analytical side first, because we need to separate emotion from statistics. Mathematically and historically, Crystal Method had 4 challenge wins this season.
Right.
Holistically, it makes perfect narrative sense for her to take the crown. She dominated the main challenges. She proved her versatility. However, the optics of the finale format damaged her arc. Because she skipped round 1, her victory felt anticlimactic. Fans explicitly called out the obvious production interference of her getting a bye. It made her win feel less like a hard-fought triumph and more like an administrative decision handed down by producers.
But let's look at the emotional side. Joey J was the ultimate underdog story. Imagine the television history we would have made.
It would have been unprecedented.
Going from an early out to a wild card with 0 wins, to fighting through a grueling physical gauntlet, making the top 2, and winning the crown. A Joey win would have been mind-blowing. It would have proven that the finale truly is a clean slate where anything can happen.
But does a clean slate invalidate the preceding 11 weeks of competition? If the entire season doesn't matter, why watch the season?
Okay, here's my analogy.
I'm listening.
Crystal's win is exactly like getting an A on a group project where you skip the first 2 planning meetings.
Oh, that's accurate.
Did she earn the overall grade based on her work for the whole semester? Yeah, she had 4 wins. She did great work. But was it satisfying to watch her just coast to the end in the final presentation while Joey was in the trenches doing all the heavy lifting and fighting for her life?
No.
No. It leaves a sour taste in your mouth as a viewer.
That's a perfect analogy. Crystal is an incredibly deserving winner, but the structural execution of her win was deeply flawed. The format failed the queen.
Totally. Well, looking back at the season as a whole, we have to hand out some unofficial titles for All Stars 11. Let's start with the biggest glow-up.
Dawn. Without a doubt.
Really?
She dominated her bracket early on, and let's be honest, the fandom was very vocal about the fact that Dawn actually elevated her aesthetic dramatically this season.
That is true. The looks were elevated.
Even if her storyline fizzled post-merge and she got eliminated early in the finale, her visual elevation was undeniable. She proved she can do high fashion.
Absolutely. Next up, funniest queen. I have to give it to Joey J.
Oh, obviously.
Her unapologetic, deadpan defense in the workroom, RuPaul handpicked me, eat my ass, is the kind of spontaneous, unscripted humor you cannot write. She had me cackling all season long. She never took herself too seriously.
Agreed. Fashion icon is next. This has to go to Crystal Method.
Yep.
She brought nerve, she brought talent, and she brought an incredibly unique, surrealist perspective to every single garment she presented on the runway. She never gave us a boring silhouette.
The weirdness always wins. Okay, lip sync assassin.
This is controversial, but it has to go to Joey J.
Yes, I agree.
She earned this title by surviving the hardest gauntlet of the finale, and conceptually, she redeemed her iconically horrible season 15 lip sync against Morphine. She proved she can hold her own against giants. She rewrote her own history.
That is the literal definition of an all-star. Miscongeniality energy.
Yeah.
I'm giving this to Dawn.
I can see that.
Despite being targeted by the other girls, despite the betrayal with Akira, despite being knocked out first in the finale by Silky, she was such a good sport on stage. She smiled. She bowed out gracefully. Total class act when it counted.
Quote of the season is an easy one. We just mentioned it, but it's Crystal's crowning line. There is a method to my madness. It encapsulates her entire drag persona perfectly.
And finally, main character energy.
Jasmine Kennedy. Love her or hate her, you could not look away.
You really couldn't.
The drama, the manipulation, the tears, the fights over props, the untucked meltdowns. She drove the narrative of the workroom for the entire back half of the season.
She kept us fed. She was producing the show from the inside. Okay, looking ahead to the future of the franchise, what will you remember most about this specific season?
I will remember how the bracket format ultimately killed the overarching storytelling.
Always analytical.
It isolated the queens for too long, it created disjointed arcs, and it resulted in an anticlimactic finale. The math got in the way of the art.
Honestly, I will remember the sheer, unadulterated chaos of the online fandom. The TikTok lives, the Reddit threads going nuclear, the alliances falling apart in real time, and of course, the pure joy of Joey's lip syncs.
So what are your hopes for next season? Like, how do we fix the format?
It's a structural fix. They need to ditch the 12-episode bracket format entirely. Okay, producer. From a production standpoint, they need to either give us 14 episodes to properly flesh out the merge, or do 2 separate brackets of 6 queens. 4 episodes per bracket, 3 advance from each, eliminate 2 post-merge, and have a traditional top 4.
Wait, that makes so much sense.
It allows for proper narrative arcs, actual stakes during eliminations, and it prevents the fatigue we saw in this finale.
Wow, okay. A literal masterclass in reality TV producing right there. World of Wonder, please take notes. Now, who are your dream guest judges for next season?
I'd love to see someone deeply analytical about fashion construction. Perhaps Law Roach or Zendaya, someone who won't just say, you look pretty, but will actually critique the garment's architecture and styling choices. See, I want chaos. I demand that Evan Mulrooney returns.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Specifically in that golden Speedo. I want him as a permanent pit crew member. He was pulling those ping pong balls out of that golden hopper with so much enthusiasm, he deserves a multi-year contract.
I should have expected nothing less from you. And finally, Dream All-Stars cast. Who do we need to see return?
We need Morphine back, purely for the lip syncs.
Yeah.
We need Morgan for the unfiltered drama. And can you imagine a return of Mikey Meeks and Needy Coco for an ultimate Smackdown season? The television it would create, it would be legendary.
It would be Emmy-winning chaos. The psychological warfare alone would sustain the internet for a year.
Exactly. Well, babes, we have reached the end of the line. But before we go, I want to turn the attention back to you, our Snark Squad listening at home.
We want to hear from you.
I want you to sound off on our social media. Tell us.
Did the right queen win? What was your absolute favorite runway of the season? And which queen truly stole your heart? And I want to leave you with one final, slightly provocative thought to mull over. We've talked about track records, we've talked about fan votes, we've analyzed the mechanics of a lip sync tournament.
Right.
But if RuPaul holds all the power and the historical track records or fan sentiments don't strictly dictate the final outcome of a sudden death lip sync, is Drag Race still actually a competition? Or has it evolved into purely interactive, heavily produced performance theater? Chill that.
Oh, that is deep. We love a philosophical exit. A massive, heartfelt thank you to the gays, the theys, the queens, the kings, the dolls, the allies, and literally every single babe listening for celebrating another chaotic, beautiful Drag Race season with us.
Please remember to subscribe, leave us a review, and share this recap with someone who loves drag, creativity, and unapologetically being themselves.
Stay fierce, stay fabulous, stay exactly who you are, and we'll see you on the Snark side.